So we are at the final practice of the weekend, the FP3 of the Austrian GP, Red Bull Ring in Austria. Now the funny thing is we have McLaren still leading the charge. They are still the class of the class. All through the practice session, they were just on point. They did a beautiful job and they still look like they are still testing the car. The McLaren are just elusive, and all thanks to Lando Norris. He came up with very beautiful charge after his mistake in Canada. I think after every mistake, Lando Norris comes out better. Now there have been a double modification to his suspension to help Lando Norris because his qualifying has been very bad recently. The upgrades on the front suspension are only taken by him, but there's a double modification for him on it. And this coordinated updates and rear suspension of the McLaren were aiming to address the drivability issues in qualifying which plagues Lando Norris. But Lando Norris had been well on point all through the weekend, and today it was just out there pushing the car to the limit. That is when you see the qualifying simulations. Though some drivers will still like some things, because I know McLarens are still like, because they are still spraying flow vis on the car to see how fast the car can go and where the aerodynamics path lies. So they are still looking at that. So McLaren are still the cream de la cream. They are still the benchmark, and they're still out there pushing the car. Coming next is Max Verstappen. The Red Bull brought performance updates to their floor, and you can see the floor is performing, but Yuki Tsunoda is still struggling with that car, and it's not looking like it's getting better for him anytime soon. Though in the practice session it looks so a little bit close. That's what we've seen, but during qualifying in the afternoon it will look farther away again. Far away. You know, it's been like that for him, and how can he overcome it? Well, Yuki Tsunoda will find a way to do that by himself, but it's a big ask, a big question for him. The Ferrari are on top speed. I think they're getting to learn, though they're still locking up. The rear is still everywhere, but the Ferrari, I think they've really improved a little. We can see some tents, they're getting closer, but during qualifying we would know their race simulation is still far off. Maybe they've tuned the car up a little. We can see them much more in the race tomorrow probably, but their race simulation is still far off. Hopefully when they come to Silverstone next week, they will bring the rear package and they will be able to marry the floor and the rear and see how it changes. But that rear is still everywhere, it's still jittering when the car is on high speed to corner. Hopefully they can correct that. The Alpine seat is still open. I'm still looking for a team principal. Will they take Bernie Ecclestone, the 93-year-old, 94-year-old man, as their team principal, which is not possible? They are still looking for a team principal. The team is trying to get a balance, and they need to sort that out going into next season, because they're changing engine, they're changing a lot of things. Some people will be leaving. They need the team principal to find a line, create a balance for themselves going into next year. And to the Red Bull, I still believe the Red Bull and the Racing Bull, they are running some possibly similar path, because at the coming out of the turn 10, Isaac Kaja, Max Verstappen had a big spin, a 360 spin that is not good for them. If they lose the car riding on those curbs, it can push them into the walls and destroy the car. So I think they need to watch out. Maybe it's just some tuning they need to do, but they are still looking jittering. And also Alonso and Stroll, I can see they are getting a perfect fit for the car. Since Andre Newey got into the team and started working, we've seen Stroll's performance improved, and it was not short of today. Since this weekend, he has been doing a good job against his teammates, and he has been pushing the car. So let's see how he does in the qualifying. But the qualifying, I believe, will be close between four teams. The Mercedes are not looking so perfect in this FP3. They are still about 7/10 off on all the push laps they've done. So possibly they will be close during the qualifying. It's still a qualifying of four teams: the McLaren, the Ferrari, the Mercedes, and the Red Bull. But the closest teams luckily could still be the McLaren and the Red Bull. But going to qualifying, give you the better gist. Yeah, what a qualifying it was. The McLaren, they came to king. You know, they look a little bit off in Canada. In FP1 they look a little bit off, but from FP2 down, Lando Norris had just been like, that anger I'm bringing it from Canada, on I no go feel am, but I no feel am, na wahala. And the guy came just like kinging, as in the tent he was taking away from everybody is massive. And at the end of the day, in the Red Bull's backyard, at the Red Bull ring, at their home Grand Prix, Lando Norris took 5/10 away from everybody. He took it, he pocketed it, and he told them, tomorrow meet me on the track. That is the dominance of Lando Norris in the qualifying. It's crazy. Just came to tell everybody that I made a mistake in Canada, but here I come. I'm still Lando Norris. So from Q1, Lando Norris, and every time he sets, he will just go and sleep and say, okay, you guys come and set it. Let me see what you can do. That was just the way it was. The track temperature went about 10 degrees up to about 50 degrees to start the Q1, and that was how it was. The Q1 exit, we have Lance Stroll, Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda out again. Keep quiet. Yuki Tsunoda out again. But this is very close. Seriously, Yuki Tsunoda out in 18th, very close to Max Verstappen, just 2 tenths away from Max Verstappen. This is the closest it can be, but he qualified 18th and he was out in Q1. I won't say anything. Carlos Sainz out, car damage, I believe. He had the car damage. Nico Hülkenberg out. But I think that Sauber is impressive. But Norris, Piastri, Lawson, Gasly, and Hajar, track evolution very high. Q2, the McLarens are just kinging the way they are. They have not offended anybody, but they have offended them by curbing the front wings, and here they are, showing you that they have a lot of things in stock. So Alonso out, Albon out, Hajar out. Good one for Hajar, but is out. Colapinto out, Bierman out. But Norris again, Piastri again, Q2. You have Leclerc, Verstappen, Bortoleto. Track evolution is putting a lot of people where they are not meant to be. But the Q3, we had Max Verstappen, but on his pace, he cannot challenge Lando. The pace Max Verstappen was. He had to lift off because of the yellow flag caused by Pierre Gasly going 720. In FP3, we had Verstappen and Hajar doing 360 each. But Gasly, because he has been a member of the Red Bull family, he had to do 720 for them so that he can take two and say, yeah, like I said, I can take you guys along. Yellow flag, but that impeded some people like Piastri, impeded someone like Max Verstappen on their long run. Even Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc were impeded. But that did not steal the opportunity from Norris and also from Leclerc coming second. One of the best Ferrari qualifying this season. Ferrari splitting the McLaren for the first time this season in the main qualifying. So it's a Norris, Leclerc, Piastri, Hamilton. Wow, I would say best qualifying for Hamilton in the race this season. Though they still have a lot to learn. Russell, Lawson, Verstappen, Olaf, Liam Lawson out qualified Max Verstappen. For the first time this season in the Racing Bull. I'm Lawson. That's great. I'm Lawson 6, Max Verstappen 7, Bortoleto 8, Antonelli 9. Those are the people that Gasly's 720 impeded and Gasly. But what a race we have in our hands tomorrow. You don't want to miss that race. I'm telling you. If you miss that race, I don't know what you are missing. See, I would love to sleep till around 12 a.m. tomorrow. So I'll be awake and I'll be able to watch the race all through because it's going to be a blockbuster. And we know the McLarens will just leave everybody behind. So it will be the battle of the behind. Catch you guys tomorrow. I love you guys. Bye. Chee.